Chef Antonia Lofaso, and we are in the kitchen at Scopa Italian Roots in Venice. I'm so excited that you guys have my Cavatelli pasta kit at home with you. We are going to go through some of the ingredients, show you guys how to make the dish. I want to make sure you guys have all the ingredients and all the equipment. So first and foremost, you should have your Cavatelli dough. It should be already sort of flat and in an oval style shape. It should be about ½ an inch thick. Okay, and we also can roll it out a little bit more if it isn't ½ an inch thick, okay? There should be your Cavatelli maker. You want to be able to put that on any cutting board or countertop in your kitchen with enough surface space so that you can roll out the dough and have the pasta sort of fall around it. You should have a pot of boiling water on that is salted. Also with the Cavatelli machine, if it's not sticking to the side of the cutting board, you can either put a piece of paper in it or a towel, something to really make sure that it's secure and doesn't move around on your board or your countertop. You should have locatelli cheese, which is a form of pecorino, a little bit of flour for dusting, some sausage that's already been cooked and added its casing, salt, black pepper, olive oil, chicken stock, butter, chopped Italian parsley, and some already cooked, roasted, and chopped broccoli rabe, otherwise known as rapini, okay? You should have a rasper as well. We're gonna grate some fresh, beautiful locatelli into the pasta and on top, and we are ready to go. I always like to say, make sure you have all your ingredients ready to go, and make sure you have all of your equipment ready to go. You can always put me on pause to catch up, and then play me again if you need a little bit more time to set up. Okay, so you've got your dough. You want to roll it out to about ½ an inch thick. It doesn't matter once you cut into it if the ribbons that we're about to make are uneven. Once it goes through the machine, it will be completely fine. The dish is meant to be rustic, so all of the sizes don't necessarily matter when we're cooking at home. And you're going to cut these into about an inch thick ribbon. Okay, and again, you want to make sure that your dough is very cold. It says it in the directions, but if it's not cold right now, pause me, put it in the refrigerator, let it get nice and cold. Much easier to work with when it's nice and cold. You can have a ribbon that looks like this and a ribbon that looks like this. That is okay. Once it goes through the machine, it will all be the same. You want to take a little bit of that flour that we sent you and just dust your machine and the area around. Make sure that the area around is nice and dry, and that the machine is dry. Also, this machine obviously is yours forever. You don't want to put it through the dishwasher. You don't want to put any water on it. You just kind of want to dust it, all the flour and any kind of excess pasta off of it, and keep it in the box and keep it in a cool, dry place. You're going to practice, okay? Just get your arm ready. This is basically the speed that you want the pasta to go through. There's a little white round side to the Cavatelli machine. That is where you're going to feed the dough through. Once the dough is hooked into that white piece of the Cavatelli maker, you will start cranking the lever, at which point you will actually start to pull back on the dough with your other hand, okay? So you're gonna push it through the machine, you're gonna start to crank, and then you're gonna actually pull the dough back as it starts to go through. Okay, let's try it. Don't be scared of the machine. You're in charge of the machine. You're going to absolutely use your muscle to do it. There will be some pieces that will be a little bit flatter. There will be a piece that is a little bit more round. Now in the restaurant we separate these, but you're cooking at home, so if you have a flat piece, don't waste it. Once it's in the sauce, no one's gonna notice. So you wanna take all the pasta. Again, pasta dough needs to be cold, so if you need to pause me, do it. Make sure the dough is cold. We're gonna put it through the white part of the Cavatelli machine. We're gonna start to crank. As soon as we're cranking, we're gonna pull just very slightly back with our other hand, okay? And we go through all the pasta, okay? You wanna push it away from the machine. Make sure there's no pasta that's kind of stuck in the machine. You feel like you need to dust it halfway through, you can do that as well. Also, this little knob likes to loosen, so just make sure you're tightening that screw every so often. All the way through. And again, you're gonna have some that are strangely and weird like this, and others that are perfect. It's okay, no one's gonna notice. Put it through. It does get a little hard. You gotta use a little bit of that elbow grease. Okay, all the pasta is out. You're gonna just go ahead now. You want to throw the pasta into boiling salted water. The water should be like the ocean, okay? Should be like the ocean. It should be salty. Feel free to just stick a spoon in that water. Be careful not to burn yourself. Cool the water off. Just with a taste it, make sure that it's nice and salty, okay? Okay, so now we are going to start by heating up the sausage, adding a little bit of chicken stock and a little bit of butter, and that is what's going to create the sauce. So a little bit of butter, a little bit of olive oil. Now there is extra olive oil in your bag. There's also extra chicken stock in your bag, just in case anything spills or you don't have enough of it. You have plenty of all of the ingredients to cook this, okay? So a little bit of butter and olive oil, and we'll throw in the sausage. We're gonna add the rapini at the very end, okay? The rapini is just to sort of warm through, but we don't want to put it in too soon because it kind of alters the flavor of the chicken stock and the butter and the sausage. Rapini is a beautiful vegetable, but it is a very bitter vegetable. You can see we're just reheating the sausage just like that. A little butter, a little bit of olive oil, we're just reheating. Once the sausage has an opportunity to sort of open up and bloom, we're gonna add some chicken stock and a little bit more butter. And the chicken stock and butter is what creates the sauce, as does the sausage. Essentially, this is a sausage ragu. So it's sausage, a little bit of butter, and we make the sausage in-house at Scopa, and it's got beautiful fennel seed and chili flake and a little bit of red wine vinegar. Bring that together. Now, the cavatelli, how do we know when it's ready? You're gonna know the cavatelli is ready because it's floating. And then once it's floating, we're gonna let it cook for another 60 seconds, 1 minute, to really make sure that it's cooked all the way, and then we're gonna cook it the rest of the way in the sauce. So the sauce comes together with the butter and the chicken stock, and this is okay. You want to see this, okay? It looks brothy, it looks soupy. The butter is what's going to make this nice and thick. Obviously, this is my pasta cooker here in the restaurant, but a regular pot at home is exactly what you need with a colander. Cook it like you would any other pasta, okay? But the important are these little small techniques. So making sure the water is nicely seasoned. And then the other part is really making sure that the pasta gets cooked in sauce. Any kind of pasta or any kind of noodle is like a giant sponge, and it wants to absorb sauce. So even at this point, you can see that this is nice and brothy, but it looks like it's thickening up. I'll put the cavatelli in here now because it's going to cook for another 3 minutes in that sauce. At this point, we can throw in another little nugget of butter. We can season it with just a little bit of salt. The locatelli that I sent you is a very salty, funky pecorino. Pecorino basically means sheep in Italian, so it's a hard Italian sheep's milk cheese. And it's got a beautiful salt content to it. So I love to use the flavoring of that cheese to really season the dish, as well as obviously add a cheese component. So the butter, the nice cold butter, is what thickens this ragu, right? So it's all that beautiful sausage flavoring and the chicken stock and the butter. And it's okay that this looks watery now. The butter's gonna do its job, and it's going to emulsify. You do wanna make sure that I cook this on a high flame the whole way through, okay? So start it at a high flame and all the way through. No slow cooking when it comes to pasta. So just as we hit the 2.5 minute mark, I'm going to throw the rapini in and let that cook the rest of the way. The rapini has already been roasted, seasoned, and chopped for you. But we throw it in at the very, very end because, again, rapini is a delicious vegetable, but a very bitter vegetable, and we don't want the sauce to become overly bitter. We really just want to warm it, okay? You want to practice pasta flip? Now is the time. So I'm going to turn the heat off now. You can see how that thickened up on its own. I'm going to add cheese at the very end because we want to retain all that beautiful flavor, the nuttiness, the saltiness, the funkiness of the locatelli. And that only happens when it's removed from the heat. When you start to cook any kind of cheese over heat, it actually will start to lose its flavor. So only at the very end. Do not worry if there's large chunks of cheese in there. We're cooking at home, and as far as I'm concerned, a hot piece of cheese is delicious. So a nice plate, hot piece of cheese, a little pasta slap, I like to call it. You can hear it hitting the side of the pan and right into a plate, just like that. And then a little bit of a locatelli, that beautiful sharp pecorino, right over the top, and I like to say all around town. I'm gonna finish it with just a little bit of that chopped parsley for some freshness, some herbaceousness, and there you have it. You have cavatelli with sausage and rapini ragu. I'm so happy that you guys got the pasta kit. I hope you enjoy it.